Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. Hope everyone had a great holiday and ready for the new year. Let the record reflect that all board members are present tonight and that this meeting was properly advertised. Working session was conducted prior. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we offer public comment at the beginning and end of our meetings, so we'll go ahead and offer that now. I don't see anyone here for the public, so we will offer that again at the end. First item tonight is the approval of our minutes from the December 20th, 2023 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes of the December 20th, 23 meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Tim to approve the minutes from the December 20th, 2023 meeting. Any discussion or questions? From the prior meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here, Tim wasn't here.
I was here.
Was you here?
Yeah,
I was here.
Oh, Aaron
Bill
wasn't here, yeah, well, that's
Tim
good,
was.
that,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
that works.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item tonight is from our electric operations manager, Jeff Greeno, and we'll address the 2024 electric conduit installation.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a request for board approval for the 2024 conduit installation. Late last year, we had an RFP we sent out, and Lebanon Utilities, we had a couple really good companies that responded to this, Barriott and Setco. So we would like to request that we use one company as our primary contractor and the other as our secondary contractor. My reasoning for wanting two contractors is this will help in the event one contractor is busy and the other one will be available if we have a big job that comes up or an emergency. I do want to note that each individual project will have pricing associated with the contractor that has been awarded the job and brought before the board for approval. So I would like to recommend that the Utility Service Board approve the 2024 conduit installation RFP. We will list Barriott as our primary contractor and have General Manager Ed Baskell sign all documents. Any questions?
Right, thank you, Jeff.
So
Questions for Jeff?
this will be for 1 year, correct?
Correct.
Right, I'd entertain a motion if there's no further questions or discussion.
I move to award the 2024 electric conduit installation RFP to Barriott as Lebanon Utilities primary contractor and Setco as the secondary contractor, and have General Manager Ed Baskell sign all documents.
Second?
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron to award the 2024 electrical conduit installation RFP to Barriott as the primary contractor and Setco as secondary, with our general manager signing all documents. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, looks like Jeff's going to stay for a minute for the 2024 tree trimming.
Yes, we also last year sent out a RFP for tree trimming. We asked for up to a 3-year term in the RFP. We had several good responses from the RFP from several companies. Lebanon Utilities and BFS, we went over all these contractors and we reviewed the responses, and we making a recommendation to the board to accept My Tree Sons LLC as our new tree trimming contractor for 2024. So I just would like to ask the board to approve My Tree Sons LLC to provide tree trimming services for Lebanon Utilities for 1 up to 3 years, starting in the fiscal year of 2024. The yearly budget not to exceed amount is projected at $240,000 per year. All contracts will be reviewed by our legal department, and all documents will be signed by our general manager, Ed Baskell. Are there any questions?
Right, thank you, Jeff.
I want to ask the legal counsel that 1 to 3 year term, if sometime near the end of the first year, things aren't working as we had hoped, that we would be able to rebid the tree trimming?
Yeah, I would perhaps phrase that in the opposite. If the agreement is, if the first year has gone well, that it is extendable for up to 2 years additionally. So perhaps I might suggest an motion would be to award the tree trimming RFP to My Tree Sons LLC in an amount not to exceed $240,000 for their 2024 services, with an option to extend the agreement for up to 2 additional years, authorizing the general manager to finalize and sign the contract.
So moved.
Second?
All right, we have a motion made by Tim and a second by Aaron to approve My Tree Sons to provide the tree trimming services for Lebanon Utilities with a $240,000 max for 1 year with the option to extend up to 3 years. Legal review and general manager signing all documents. Any additional questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan Oninger's not here tonight. The next item is the Business Park BOT agreement, and our general manager, Ed Baskell, is going to address that for the board.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, and I would like to ask the board to approve the Business Park BOT, or Build, Operate, Transfer Agreement for pre-closing services. I want to note that we did have a working session prior to this where we discussed how this bid, operate, transfer works and the details of it. And what we're looking for is just the approval for pre-closing services for the Business Park Regional Lift Station project, with it not to exceed $50,000 for any work they would need to do to put this together, and eventually we'll come back to the board agreeing on a price. Further questions? I would ask for your approval. Thanks for the motion.
I have a question for the council. If I read the contract right, it's this, never mind. This is a question for the next agenda item. I apologize.
All right, anything else for Ed, or questions in general on this BOT agreement? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve entering into a BOT agreement for pre-closing services related to the Lebanon Business Park Regional Lift Station project for an amount that would not exceed $50,000 with Coskin Industrial, Inc. and General Manager Ed Baskell approval to execute the agreement on behalf of the board.
Second?
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Aaron, to approve the Business Park BOT agreement, the not-to-exceed amount of $50,000 with Kukosing, with our general manager signing all documents. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, looks like Ed will probably continue here with the Wessler Master Service Agreement.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the next item is the Wessler Engineering Master Service Agreement, and I just want to kind of preview the next 2 items too that are also with Wessler Engineering. What we do towards the beginning of every year is we do master service agreements with our engineers and contractors, and the master service agreement has all the terms and conditions of how we work together with that engineer. And then we have sub-agreements off of that we often call task orders that just have the scope delineated just for the individual tasks they're doing, and it helps keep the focus of that task order on what's being done, and can have the terms in the master service agreement. So the master service agreement is something that the terms change from time to time. Our legal counsel's worked with Wessler and worked on some minor tweaks to it, because we've been doing business with them a long time, and we're comfortable with the agreement, and I would like to ask the board for a motion to approve Wessler Master Service Agreement.
Right, thank you. Ed, questions on the master service agreement with Wessler?
I have a question for legal counsel. If I read the contract correctly, it will automatically renew for 1 year unless there's 90 days notice given?
Correct. There are other abilities to terminate the agreement that trigger the notice provisions, but yes.
So theoretically, we wouldn't have to approve a new master service agreement for Wessler next year?
Correct. I try to keep these on about every 3-year cycle, where these are updated every 3 years. There's new contract provisions that are standard to the industry, and this agreement, as well as the Butler-Fairman agreement, had a little moss on them, and they were updated by my office quite a bit, just some industry standard terms, and that have, so those were updated. We would then, at the board's pleasure, next year or 5 years from now, would see another master service agreement come back.
I anticipate, however, if it does automatically renew, that there will likely be a new 2025, for example, hourly rate and reimbursement expense schedule. In other words, even though it renews automatically every year, the expense and salaries would probably change.
Typically, but not always. Sometimes they will defer to their original hourly rate schedule for some period of time.
Okay,
But that would have to come back in writing. They would have to notify us of that change before the next term.
thank you.
All right, any other questions on this master service agreement with Wessler? If not, entertain a motion.
I move to approve the master services agreement between Wessler and Lebanon Utilities for general engineering services, and authorize the general manager to sign on behalf of the utility.
Second?
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill to approve the master service agreement between Wessler and Lebanon Utilities for general engineering services, and authorize our general manager to sign. Other questions or discussion?
I'd just like to note that we've had an excellent working relationship with Wessler over the years that's very valuable to us.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then we'll jump to the Wessler General Service Agreement. Ed will address that as well.
Yes, thank you. And as I just explained on the master service agreement, there would be tasks off of that. This is the first task order 1 off of that master service agreement. This is for general engineering services. An example of a recent general engineering service that we engaged Wessler for was doing an estimate for the plant expansion in accordance with things that we're working on with the IEDC. Whatever might come along that we would need Wessler for related to the wastewater plant, we have the ability to use those hourly rates and use this general service agreement to get that work done. I asked the board for action to approve this.
All right, questions on this item?
Let's see, I need a little clarification. We're looking today just at the pre-treatment program and the general engineering services. Now, the general engineering services is for not to exceed 15,000. And Ed, did I hear you make reference to the the possible plant expansion?
Yeah, they did a preliminary estimate.
All right, preliminary
And
estimate.
that's something we thought that's well under the 15,000.
Right, okay, so, but,
We asked them for some estimates on things like that. They can do the engineering for us.
right, but this particular task orders, we do not anticipate them doing a full-out
Oh, no, that was-
study of a plant expansion.
No, that's something we've discussed in relation to the IEDC, where they would have to do a full design, and that would be, I think, probably a much more expensive item, and you wouldn't be able to design off of what they've done for us.
Right.
It was just a ballpark estimate.
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding. Thank you.
Question.
Right, anything else on the general service agreement with Westler? Not entertain a motion?
I move to approve task order number 1 for Westler to provide general engineering services to Lebanon Utilities for a not-to-exceed amount of $15,000 and authorize General Manager Ed Baskell to sign on behalf of the utility.
Second?
Motion made by Tim, and we've got a even tie with Bill and Aaron for a second.
Please give it to Aaron, because he's the liaison with wastewater.
All right, any other discussion or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It looks like our final Westler action will be the pretreatment program.
Yes, and as we just described, this is task order 2, but for the pretreatment program. And we have a pretreatment program because we have industries and we need to do special monitoring to make sure that they don't send us anything to the wastewater plant by accident that would harm the wastewater plant. And it's a state mandated program. Westler does a pretty good job of helping us with it, but occasionally we need their assistance on an inspection or an issue, development coming in to make sure that we're monitoring their wastewater properly. So I'd ask the board to approve this task order.
All right, thank you, Ed. Questions on the pretreatment program?
I'd just like to make a comment that this is very important to our wastewater treatment process, and that we've had an excellent working relationship with Westler over the last several years to get this accomplished in a professional way, and I look forward to supporting this motion.
All right, would entertain a motion if there's nothing further.
I move to approve task order number 2 for Westler to provide program assistance to Lebanon Utilities for 2024 in an amount not to exceed $40,000 and authorize General Manager Ed Baskell to sign on behalf of the utility.
Second?
Motion made by Ann and seconded by Bill to approve the task order number 2 for Westler to provide assistance to Lebanon Utilities in 2024 with a not-to-exceed amount of $40,000, signing by our general manager, Ed Baskell. Anything additional? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move to the approval of our claims, payrolls, and transfers dated January 3rd, 2024. Everyone had a chance to review those items, and if so, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve claims payroll transfers dated January 3rd, 2024 in the amount of $1,067,164.59 for claims and payroll and $0 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve our claims, payrolls, and transfers dated January 3rd, 2024. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any other business from the board tonight? Anything from you, Ed?
Yeah, I just, at the board's pleasure, I'd like to make some comments on 2023.
Okay.
Okay, this has been an important year, 2023, for Lebanon Utilities, where our credo is neighbors serving neighbors. Okay, in the wake of Christmas, a question comes to mind from the story of the Good Samaritan: who is my neighbor? Well, we're welcoming many new neighbors to Lebanon, notably Eli Lilly and the Andy Card Fieldhouse, many others. It is our policy that growth pays for growth, and these new neighbors have made contributions of over $25 million in availability fees. It's our view that when businesses join our community and use utilities, residents that are already here benefit from utility rates that are lower over time as they add to the pool of money that we can spend. These businesses pay taxes and they help keep taxes low, which is probably part of the reason why the city supported the utilities in the past by pledging millions in American Rescue Funds to the Reese Park project, and have pledged $3.5 million for the Business Park Lift Station project we just approved the BOT agreement for. It's going to start here in 2024. And just some interesting stats from 2023. Staff performed 7,492 utility locates. That's 2,000 more than the average of the prior 2 years. We installed 240 new electric services. That's 240. More than double what it was in 2021, and we expect that trend of increasing services to continue. We had 25 projects come through the TAC process in 2023. That's compared to 30 in 2022 and 15 in 2021. Lebanon Utilities' water system capacity is 4.6 million gallons a day. Our average water demand for 2023 was 2.0 million gallons a day, up from 1.8 million gallons a day in 2022 and 1.7 million gallons a day in 2021. Our peak water demand for 2023 was 2.6 million gallons a day, and that's right about the same in 2022 and 2021. We didn't really see a change in the peak. Water capacity allocation letters were signed for 11 projects in 2023. Those allocations, we're accelerating our water capacity development plans, working with IFA to find additional well water near us. We're talking to our neighbors about water supply connections and working with the state government for funding assistance. We will manage the pace of our capacity allocation to always be under our peak capacity. Year-end financial analysis showed that we will need to do a rate study in each of the utilities. It's good stewardship to do regular rate studies. We've done a rate study and haven't done a rate study in electric since about 2013. Contributions from growth will lead lower rates lower than they would be without them, because we have projects that need to be done to improve our system that need to be done without the growth, but the growth will help fund them. That is our strategy. Special thanks to my staff for the added stress of this big uptick in the work we do without a big uptick in the number of people we have. But especially, I want to focus today on our support staff. We have Jeff Jacob, our counsel, who's been central in negotiations on the MOUs with the outside entities that are helping us. And John Leitner has provided all sorts of engineering assistance for water and the wastewater. 2024 looks to be an even more exciting year, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a wild ride, folks. So, all I have
All right,
to say.
thanks, Ed. Anybody have any other business tonight before we ask for public comment? All right, don't see any members of the public here tonight, but ask for comment. Ed, you aware of any public comment?
No, sir.
All right, we'll be looking forward to our next meeting on the 17th of January, 5 p.m. And if there's nothing further, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.